The environment is the surrounding where man, animal, and plants live, operate, and thrive in. The environment is also the natural habitat for both biotic and abiotic elements. Now, if by our activities as men, we destroy the environment, how do we live? Where do we thrive in? And how do we operate? This is a question that rages in the minds and hearts of every and anyone that loves the environment. However, not to worry, laws, environmental laws and regulations such as National Environmental Standards for Telecommunication and Broadcast Facilities, Regulation 2011, has provided for environmental laws that protect our environment. Good day, my name is Grace Oyebanji. I'm a 400 level law student of the University of Ibadan and an undergraduate intern at HARLEM Solicitors. Today, I'll be lecturing you on the topic, the environmental protection under NESREA's Standard for Telecommunication and Broadcast Facilities, Regulation 2011. To start with, what is NESREA? NESREA is a national environmental standard and regulations enforcement agency. It was established in the year 2007 as a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Environment, Urban Development and Housing. NESREA itself was established in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, which provides that the state shall protect the environment and also safeguard the water, land, air, wildlife and forests of Nigeria. Section 34 of the NESREA's Act empowers the Federal Minister of Environment to make regulations to further enhance the functions of the agency, which is how the 2011 regulation was built. Now, there are main objectives and specific objectives of the 2011 regulation. The main objective of the 2011 regulation is to protect the environment and human health, as well as ensure safety and general welfare in relation to reducing or limiting public and private losses due to the activities of telecommunication, masts and towers, and industry. Now, the specific objective of the 2011 regulation is to 1. Ensure that the installation of masts and towers does not constitute a nuisance to the environment, as well as ensure that environmental impacting activities which are dangerous to human health are greatly reduced. The 2011 regulation also stipulates sanctions necessary and sanctions for non-compliance with the provisions of the regulation of the 2011 regulation. Going on, maybe and if maybe there's a strict compliance with the 2011 regulation, maybe people will not come to complain about how the masts and towers close to them disturbs them. Now, this is because the 2011 regulation stipulates that all newly built masts and towers shall be in compliance with Environmental Impact Assessment Act Cap 12 of the Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and there will be a submission of environmental impact assessment which is site specific to the agency. Again, there must be, and again, all existing masts and towers which were erected without the environmental impact assessment shall be made subject to an environmental audit. And lastly, all operational masts and towers shall be made subject to an environmental audit every 3 years. Before siting masts and towers, there are certain conditions which the 2011 regulation make condition precedents. And the first is that siting masts and towers must not be detrimental to human health, public safety, and general welfare. Again, it must not have any negative effect on the host and impact transit neighborhood. Siting telecommunication masts and towers must also be in compliance with the general plans of the community, the host, and the immediate transit environment. There must also be the environment compliance signage, which will be issued by the agency. Going by the issue of perimeter setback, the 2011 guideline stipulates a 10-meter setback, especially in residential areas, from the last leg of the tower to the nearest demise building, especially when there is a fence. And in situations where there is no fence, the 2011 regulation stipulates 12-meter setback from the last leg of the tower to the nearest demise building. When do we say that a mast or tower has been abandoned? A mast or tower has been abandoned if after 3 years it has been out of operations. And what happens next after the notice by the agency? What happens is that the agency writes to the telecommunication operator in charge to either evacuate or recommence operations. And if after all of this is done, there is nothing from their end, I mean from the telecommunication operator's end, then the mast and tower will be dismantled. Recently, there's been health concerns about whether the electromagnetic waves coming from the mast and tower causes anything or is detrimental to the human health. Research has shown that none of this will happen. I mean, the electromagnetic waves coming from the mast or tower is not detrimental to human health. However, Regulation 8 of the 2011 regulation states that the radiation coming from the mast and tower shall be monitored so as to ensure that the electromagnetic waves is not detrimental to human health. Again, for occupational staff, the permissible radiation level shall be one in compliance with the regulation, laws, and guidelines of the World Health Organization and the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection. The Regulation 9 of the 2011 regulation states that the regulation encourages the use of environmental friendly power generating source such as solar, hydro, and wind. However, where fossil fuel generating power sets are being used, it must be 15 meters away from any existing water body. And where power generating sets are used, it must be away from it must be 6 meters away from residential area, especially when there is a fence. But where there is no fence, it must be 8 meters away from the nearest residential area. And the exhaust from the power generating sets must not be directed to the next building. All power generating sets, according to Regulation 9, must be soundproof and their vibrations must be one in compliance with the regulations of the agency. Finally, in the event of sanction, in the event of non-compliance, the sanction that the 2011 regulation stipulates is that when there is any non-compliance with any of the regulations, there shall be a fine of 5 million naira or imprisonment for 5 years, or both, and an additional 50,000 naira for every day that the offense subsists. I hope that with this lecture, you already know more about the environmental protection. To know more about telecommunication law and other laws in general, kindly visit our website at www.harlemsolicitors.com and follow us on all of our social media handles on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Thank you very much.